morning, everybody. This is Lara from the channel Sewn by Lara. So it is almost the end of the month. I think it's, the 23rd today when I'm filming this. And I'm kind of behind a few videos, actually. I need to sit down and upload them and edit them and just get them done. Anyways, it's a bit of a snow day here. It hasn't stopped the world in Victoria, but enough to make it slick and not so nice. There's these northern polar winds that are coming down in 100-kilometer-hour gusts. And this morning when I ran out to the grocery store to pick up some milk and some things, I felt great empathy for the lineman that was up in his little basket working on the power lines. Having spent 3 years as a chaplain to a signals regiment, and of course, linemen as well as other communication specialists are there. I feel great empathy for them, climbing up those really tall poles and doing their thing, with high voltage electricity and things like that. Not a job for me. Part of their initiation of me was to put the, I'll call them crampons for lack of a better word, but these little sharp picky things on my feet, and then I had to try to climb up the telephone pole. I didn't get very far, and so the next test was to get up to the top in the bucket and be kind of an extra pair of hands for one of the guys. And again, while I'm not scared of heights, I certainly am very aware of my vulnerability when I'm up really high like that. So yeah, feel a lot of empathy out for that little dude today who was fixing the power for some of the neighbors down the road. And of course, my mind kind of randomly goes and it makes me think of Glenn Campbell, the Wichita lineman song, which of course I heard growing up as a kid in the 70s. Brings back good memories, actually, thinking of Glenn Campbell. What a beautiful voice, and a really great songwriter. Anyways, you didn't watch this to hear me ramble on about my musical choices or signalers. I have been sewing. I'm on leave currently right now. I've got another 5 days of leave left. So I've been kind of half the day sewing and half the day doing house kind of jobs. The big plan was to be out in the garden, and I got out there for a few hours for a few days, but now there's snow, so I can't do anything, which is really kind of frustrating because a lot of March I'm going to be working away from home, and so my garden might be overrun at that point. So, oh well, it is what it is, right? In the meantime, on the other side of the fence, on the sewing side, I have been really, really, really productive. I mentioned back in January that I wanted to sew my stash, and I've been working hard on trying to do that. Unfortunately, I have broken my fabric diet. It didn't last very long, middle of February. So I'm going to try to do better, but I don't have great hope for myself, if I'm really honest. But I am whittling things down, so I'm okay with that. Anyways, I felt the desire the other day to pull out one of those said pieces of fabrics from the stash because it's just so pretty. It is a piece of satin, and it's on a turquoise blue background with pink. The pink that's kind of the in color this year. And I'm like, I want to make something out of this. I got to make something out of this. And so I dug around in the patterns, and I came out with this oldie but a goodie from Simplicity. And I decided that I would make this view here. And I did. And I'll insert some stills for you to Now, the thing that is a little bit different about mine is I didn't put the peplum in. I should have actually done the measurement from here to that peplum, because it wasn't long enough, right? So I got a little bit more boobage than the length of the top, so I always got to accommodate and add a little bit extra for that drop, right? Drop, in order to put in the elastic for the peplum. But I made a note in my pattern, and so I'm ready for the next time. So, you know, I'm going to make it again. There's two other options, one being this one and one being that one that I would like to make again. And I'm sure I've got, you know, random fabric that I can make that out of. So the other thing that I made was this dress here from Butterick. I had been in Fabricland mid-February, and this is when I broke my fabric diet. So I'd gone in to look for just a little bit of fabric to finish a project, and that was allowed. And as I was walking out the door, another piece of fabric called to me and said, "Take me home, Lara, take me home." And so I took it home, 3 meters of it. And it was really expensive, like $40 a meter expensive. It was on sale, 30%. And I'm grateful for that, but it still wasn't enough. Anyways, but I made this dress, this knit dress with sleeves, a little bit of pleating. It's a faux wrap. It does have a belt. Not sure if I'm going to use a belt. We'll see. I might actually use a ready-made, like a leather belt. That might look a bit better, but again, I've got to play around with it. And maybe if I remember when I insert the stills, I'll take some photos of it with the belt, without the belt, and with a you know, a different type of belt so that you can see that. But I really like how this pattern turned out. Again, this is not a new pattern. This is an old one. I just had never made it, and I really think it's got some great potential to be a tried and true one. I could see a number of easy summer dresses out of like cotton jersey made out of that pattern. And that would be really great because everyone knows that I like to wear dresses. So yeah, even on a cold day like today, I'm still wearing a dress, though I did have fur fleece lined leggings on, which I had to take off as I started to have hot flashes. So anyways, eventually I'll have to put them back on because I'll get cold again, but hey, it is what it is. So the other thing that I made was a t-shirt. You know, I have quite a collection of t-shirts in all sorts of different colors, which is great. And I really like wearing them because they're unique. So again, I had been in Fabricland in Courtenay. And again, I was there buying something to finish off a project. And I got my stuff cut, and I was walking to the till. And on the way to the till, they had this, essentially it was a garbage bin, and it had rolls of fabric in it, which I thought was kind of unusual because normally rolled fabric in Fabricland at least is in the drapery section. So I kind of looked and I'm like, oh my gosh, I recognize that fabric. So it was Stoff. And if anyone is familiar with Stoff, it's a very nice manufacturer of fabric from Europe. And I believe they're German. And they make gorgeous stuff, like the patterns, the color. Oh, it's yummy. It's just yummy. So there were 2 rolls that really spoke to me. And again, they were a bit pricey. Yeah, they were on sale. They're trying to clear them out, but still the sale wasn't as great as it maybe could be, at least in my estimation. But I'm like, all right, I know my favorite pattern from Style Arc, the Gem Knit Tee, takes 1.3 meters. I'm going to get 1.3 meters of this one, and I'll get more of another, which was more favorite. So this print from Stoff is called the QG Tie Collection, and it's really quite awesome. The neckband, which is in a contrasting color, I actually had picked up some bamboo rib knit from Sitka Fabrics in Port Alberni, and I'd gotten a remnant, it was just under a meter remnant piece when they had their big remnant sale, and I'm glad I did, because I saved some of those scraps and I could use it for the band of this tee. So I'll put stills in so that you can see that, and hopefully you will enjoy my t-shirt just as much as I will. I've got some plans for this. I can see it being worn with a few different pieces. And then the final thing that I am making, and it literally is in process right now, is I'm using up scraps of this. And you may recognize that because I've made myself a cardigan and a dress out of this, and I had just enough from the remnants that I can make a very simple plain v-neck t-shirt style top out of it. And so I'm using a pattern by Style Arc, and I'm going to whip that up this afternoon or this morning, and I will have yet another shirt, which, I can layer that with the cardigan, or it can be on its own underneath something. I think, it's a really versatile piece, and I just love it. Yeah, so those are some of the things that I have been up to during my leave, and I've got a number of things still kind of coming. It just depends on how much sewing I can get done. And again, if the weather is going to suck like this, it's going to impair quite a number of things in terms of, just being outdoors. And I'll just have to, adjust accordingly. But, even trying to, wash floors in the house, I'm not going to really want to do that if the dogs are going to come in and muck it all up with their dirty paws. So it frees up a little bit more time, right? For sewing. That's my thought. Anyways, maybe someone else out there would disagree, but I'm going to use that as my excuse for more sewing at this time. So I wish you a really lovely day. I hope your weather is much better than mine. Yeah, to be somewhere really nice and warm. One of the ladies I work with flew to Belize 2 days ago, and I'm like, oh, that would just be awesome. I bet it's so beautiful there. Anyways, here's wishing that all of us one day will get to Belize or another warm destination of our dreams, and be able to wear our me-made garments on those warm beaches. Anyways, wish you a really awesome day.